My name's Nicholas, and I live aboard a 103-year-old historic wooden boat, Argonaut II, and I'm on a mission to build community around this boat to help out with an ongoing restoration and preservation of its history. In today's video, we're going to be installing the upper and lower guards, which sit proud of the planking material. And to do so, we're going to be using a really cool tool called a ship saw. This right here is a large piece of equipment called a ship saw, and it has the ability to change the angle of the blade as you're sliding the piece of material through the saw. It requires two people to operate, at least one person who's pushing the material through the saw, and then a second person who can change the angle of the blade using this wheel right here. And in fact, it's actually pneumatically powered, where there is a control mechanism that pushes compressed air to help pivot the angle of the saw. So let's take a quick look at the sponson and guard assembly, and consider another view that shows how the bevel will be cut into it. So we're going to start with the basic overview of the sponson and the guard. The guard is made up of a very hard, very rot-resistant piece of wood, in this case purple heart, whose outer face is always plumb. And that guard is sponsored by the sponson, which is made up of two pieces of material, the inner and outer sponson, which attaches onto a wider plank called a shear plank or shear clamp. And in the middle of the boat, this shear plank is straight up and down, and so are all the other pieces of the sponson and guard. Now, as the shape of the hull twists and curves upward towards the bow and stern, that shear plank turns and twists with the shape as well. And in order to keep the guard plumb, the inner and outer sponson are cut to a different bevel. In dramatic cases towards the stern, it is almost a 30-degree bevel, and actually there is one section that accommodates a third tiny piece of an inner sponson as well. We use that ship saw to cut the rolling bevel as the assembly of the sponson and guard go from all faces being straight up and down or plumb to a more complex cut following the twists and curves of the hull. Also in today's episode, we will be putting the final plank on the port side, which is a huge milestone in this project. And as we've closed the boat up, it feels like there's a light at the end of the tunnel and we can start working towards finish work. So let's start right away with the ship saw and shaping the guard. So here we have a layout of the inner and outer sponson, and then the guard that's going to be going on the outboard side. This marks the bevel of the hull, whereas this line is plumb, and then the outer sponson is going to be plumb to that line with the guard outside. What Miles did was set up different stations that he took measurements of each of the bevels, and he captured these measurements by creating the templates to mirror the guard on the starboard side. And then we'll use these measurements to cut the bevels as he pushes the pieces of material through the saw. As a first step, Miles clamped the two sponson pieces together to cut out the top and bottom angles. And then to cut out the inboard rolling bevel, he gathered us together to help guide the assembly through the ship saw.
Al's gonna roll the bevel. One of you guys can skip the clamps.
Why don't you move that clamp back?
This clamp?
Well, yeah, because as soon as it gets here, it's in the way. So if it's here, you still got some. You can get it through the.
I guess Jay, you're gonna be tailing it, seems like. And you guys can help Jay tail it.
Okay. So you guys need to help him, but very, very little on the push. Slowly.
You just go that way.
Miles then cleaned up the inboard face with a power planer while the rest of us headed back to the boat. Right now I'm paying the seams. We're doing things a little bit out of order as we wait for the stem to be completed. That right now is the bottleneck to finish the planking job. And so what Miles and Jay did was they faired the planks at and around the sponson and then corked the seams. Before we lay the sponson down, which is going to sit entirely within this plank, we're just paying the seam around the sponson and then any butt joints, because once that sponson goes on, hopefully we will never have access to this again. And so while you do need to recork seams every 25 years, this will probably never see the light of day again. And so we are paying this seam prior to putting the sponson on, and then we'll stop, finish the planking job, and then go forward with our normal process of corking before fairing. While Morgan and I were paying seams, Patty was making new pieces of port light trim for the interior port light mount.
We're gonna do 3 at a time. So there's my first one. There we go, huh?
While Patty was working on the port light trim, Miles and Jay were dry fitting the inner sponson, which has that crazy tapering cut that was made from the ship's saw. Selfie video with me?
Oh god, okay.
Alright, let's go down. Gotta go back up. A little more. A little more. A little bit more. A little more. Yeah. Alright, down. 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 Down, down, get.
After the dry fitting was complete, it was time to bed the sponson using a product called Dolphinite.
Rags.
Go rag.
Rags. Oh, rags. You guys drop it down, down.
And for the guard, we made one last trip to Edensaw to pick up some Purple Heart. Yeah.
Can you go up a little, Nick? What do you think, Rowan? You think we should kerf this out and try to get it tighter? Yeah, I think you can get it tighter.
Another example of using the ship saw was to cut the bevel out for a repair we did to the covering board where there is rot in this outermost piece of decking, and we didn't want to go too far into opening the boat up for a different repair. We installed a temporary piece to address the rot and save the rest of the deck for a future project. The covering board is the outermost piece of decking material, and that sits on top of all the ends of both the deck frames, which are horizontal, and the vertical frames that accept this planking. And so it's an important piece to keep water out as it protects the hood ends of the frames. And so we installed a temporary piece to replace the rot and stop any leaking that go down into the frame bays. And then in a future project, we'll go ahead and replace the entire deck forward of the house.
All right, go down.
You need to throw a clamp through here.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
And you will notice that we installed the guard in two separate phases, installing the forward half of the guard first while we waited for Rowan to complete the stern repair, which took place 2 videos ago, before we could finish the planking in the aft half of the boat, which was necessary before installing the guards.
It'd be a shame if the owner found out.
Oh, Patty got a great video yesterday.
Oh yeah? Did it include a "Don't Tell Nick" line?
Yeah.
What did we do? Good.
Sorry.
It's my least favorite place to be.
Hey, you want to put a safety fastener in it?
Yeah. It's springtime.
with
The back?
yeah.
Amazing.
Nice work, Mr. Patty. Congratulations, Nick.
Job well done.
That was fun.
Look at
Good
that.
work, boy.
Flanked up, dude.
Ready the whole boat now. Look, it's all closed up.
All closed up. Just brings a tear to your eye. So it's Friday, and Miles is working on this, which is the Sponson and guard assembly that is gonna protect the boat from any impact when Nick gets a little too lead-footed when he's trying to dock the boat. Bit of a bumper shield. Got the steam box going. Throw these pieces in for a couple hours. Basically, the goal today is to dry fit the Sponson. That's your little update for Friday right here in Port Townsend Boat Haven Marina. What do you think about this Sponson and guard?
Dude, get that out of here.
So we're up the scaffolding now, and I'm at the hull. You can see this plank here is a lot wider than the rest of the planks. And this is one of the shear strikes of the boat, taking the Sponson and guard. So this is where we're gonna be dry fitting the Sponson to today. And as you can see, looking aft, right at that back aft quarter, it's about 29 or 30 degrees of cant that the shear strike takes out of plumb. So the other thing on the list today is to put in the upper guard, or the whiskey guard. I'm now up on the upper deck on the sheer plank, where there's a smaller little bumper rail that sticks out here, also made out of hardwood. Same function to protect all this beautiful planking that we just put on from impacts should they occur. Got 4 pieces of whiskey guard down there on the sawhorses, and I'm just getting this seam finished, and we got the plank sealed, and we'll be putting dolphinite on here, bedding compound, and then screwing the hell out of those 4 pieces and wiping our hands of that job and getting on to the next. Over now. So it's day 2 here of Sponson dry fit day. Thought I'd bring you over to the starboard side. Sponson there is 2 layers thick, but then when you get back to the stern, this is the only part of the boat where the hull shape is at such a steep angle that there has to be 3 layers of Sponson. That's what we're installing today on port side, is the super extreme stern section of the Sponson.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be even better.
Nice and slow. That's good.
Nice and low, nice and slow. Easy. Whoa, slow down. Could you help me roll this up on edge? And then back towards you. Can you let it swing out? You need to go up with the fork with it.
Up?
Yeah. Alright. Okay, that's good. Alright, lean. Alright, that's good right there.
Good?
Yeah.
I like it.
Slide it all the way back. Okay, pretty good. Let it down a bit. Stop. You gotta drop the forks down again.
Oh, honey. Stop it. We're putting on some Old Sailor. We gotta seal the wood. Seal it. We're sealing it. Sealing it. Bedded surfaces, you seal the wood in between bedded surface. Glued surfaces, you keep it bare wood so the glue can suck into the wood. But the bedding, seal it. Watch YouTube say something about that. Seal the wood when you like and subscribe. But when you hit the bell icon,
That's when you're really committed.
Yeah. Yeah, so check it out, Nick.
More? So at this point, the port side is entirely closed up, and in the next video, we're going to be going over fairing the hull and paying seams in preparation for finish work. I want to say big thank you to everyone who contributed to the online auction fundraiser last week. It was a big success, and it got us halfway to our goal of the remaining budget to get Argonaut back into the water. A lot of you have asked if we'll be doing another one, and the answer is yes. And in the meantime, if you'd like to support the making of these videos, I encourage you to go check out my Patreon. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting this project so far. You've really made a difference in helping get Argonaut to a point where it is set up for another 100 years. It has been so much fun, and I can't wait to see where the next chapter of Argonaut takes us. I'll see you all next time.